I hope that the folks out there listening not only listen and understand, but actually take action, right? And contact you, because if you are starting from scratch and trying to figure it out, or if you are already in the process of transitioning and moving and you've gotten stuck, right? Being able to talk with you or coming to you, man, it's going to help tenfold. And the investment that you make, the investment is in you, right? And that first initial investment that you make into yourself is going to catapult you and your efforts into your future, not only to make your dreams a reality, but to positively influence.
Thanks all for tuning in to Dreamcatchers, where we make things happen. Dreamcatchers was formally launched to unlock the hidden potential in successful, self-motivated individuals who desire to take their life's work to the next level but need support to evolve. We are a collective group of professionals with various backgrounds that use our talents to assist those individuals in realizing their wildest dreams by providing education, inspiration, and direction. This podcast is where we share the lessons we've learned along the way to catching our dreams and give you some context around the how and the why to each approach to put you further ahead on the journey to catching your dream. Are you ready?
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dreamcatchers Podcast. It's your host Jerome, and I've got my best bud, Greg Washington, here today. Today will be a little different episode. We've done 50, and I thought it was time to press pause and try to recalibrate. And Greg and I have been working on some stuff here recently, and I thought it would be advantageous to bring him in and have him kind of share with you guys what happens when somebody comes into Dreamcatchers and how we actually deliver the results and help people make their wildest dreams reality. And if you guys don't know or you haven't heard the episode yet, a few weeks ago, Greg released the first episode in the Guards Down podcast series, and it's part of his Iron Sharpens Iron Project. If you go back to, I think it was April, it will be Greg's first podcast interview. And on that interview, it was the day that he walked out of a over six-figure job to start working on a project that he's extremely passionate about. And slowly but surely, we've been making progress towards that goal. And it's given me the opportunity to spend a lot of time with, one of my best friends from high school. So, Greg, how are you? I don't know where you are.
Hey, bro.
I never know where you are.
Currently in Dallas, Texas. I like to travel, so that kind of helps, me with keeping my mind clear. Love being on the road and being able to just think through some things. So I'm always on the go. But I am in Dallas, Texas, and I appreciate you having me on this afternoon. Right. So to kind of get into what you were talking about, yes, I walked away from a six-figure job. And at the time, I asked myself, how did I do that?
Oh, boy. I think we all ask that question sometimes, man. I know I do.
So the stability of my family was going to be shaken. The road ahead, I didn't know what that was going to look like. For me mentally, for me financially, for, my career path or in my venture. And so my last day, that's when I called Jerome, right? I knew what he was doing. I knew he's been specializing in this for quite some time now. And the fact that we got reconnected when we did, it was actually heaven sent. So I was able to open up, talk to Jerome, which is someone, that once you get to know him and meet him, you're a likable guy, beyond likable. You fit in. you're like a brother to me. So, I mean, it made it even easier. But even the folks that, you know, I seen you talk to and how I seen you move about a room, like, you know, the charisma, the character, like that all makes sense. And so Dreamcatchers, I wanted something more purposeful with my life. I wanted to do something that would allow me to be at peace and allow me to actually be happy and satisfied with the effort and the time that I was putting in on this earth. And so talking with Jerome, man, it was just one of those things where, you know, I'm speaking in third person. I know you're on the other end, but I am actually talking to the audience because I want them to understand who you are and what you can do and the value that you bring, right? So to be able to unpack all of my thoughts, to sort through all of my emotions, and then to put a game plan in place and have an accountability partner to help me reach all of those milestones. So I created the Iron Sharpens Iron Project to honor fallen veterans, right, that were close to me. And I've always been connected to the military, and I always want to stay connected to the military. And so to try and figure out how, I've had these amazing jobs with these amazing companies where, you know, I set myself up for success to, you know, to have a good, stable career. But having come from the military where 17, 18, you know, that's all I knew and that's all I thought about. And, you know, my goals and dreams were to be a general one day, to having to adjust fire and figure some things out after the Army, and then having to be in these jobs and miss having purpose like I did serving my country. Man, to be able to talk through that with you helped bring clarity for me, right? In the sense that, all right, I knew what I wanted to do, right? I do. Then we have this long pause. It just kind of, I guess you could say, it hits home because.
Keep it together, man. Keep it together. No tears. No tears, not today.
No. Okay. It just hits home because I see a lot of people that waste time, right? We only have a certain amount of time on this earth. And one, to know what you want to do, two, to have the tools and the resources to get it done is what a lot of people like miss out on and why they stay stuck where they're at in life. And so coming to you and being able to realize those feelings, to be able to acknowledge where you're at in life, and then to have a business coach, to have a partner, to have, you know, an accountability partner, like that makes it all the worthwhile. So call Jerome day one of me leaving, and I just unpacked. I said, bro, I wasn't happy. I left. I have X amount of dollars saved up, right? So that, you know, I want to go after my dreams. I want to go after my goals. And he said, okay, let's start. And I mean, from there, over the course of 6 months, 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, right there at it.
Yeah, we first went through the inner part, right, to understand what I was going through mentally and emotionally, because I needed to deal with me first, right? I needed to learn how to heal. I needed to process what I was going through, right? And then from there, I'm able to channel that energy into business, right? Into a positive form. So not only am I more effective with helping my family and managing those situations, I'm also able to deal with the mental and emotional trauma, that I've been through, right? So going from there and then putting together a business plan and a project where it makes sense, it's scalable, and it's something that, I can do. That's where, like that was valuable, like tremendously. And then from there, it was, you hold me accountable. We have these weekly talks. We have milestones that we hit. Like we set out this whole game plan on basically how to like jumpstart my second life, right? And so man, I can't do nothing more than thank you, bro. Like seriously, I'm glad, the universe brought you into my life, and I hope that the folks out there listening not only listen and understand, but actually take action, right? And contact you, because if you are starting from scratch and trying to figure it out, or if you are already in the process of transitioning and moving and you've gotten stuck, right? Being able to talk with you or coming to you, man, it's going to help tenfold. And the investment that you make, the investment is in you, right? And that first initial investment that you make into yourself is going to catapult you and your efforts into your future, not only to make your dreams a reality, but to positively influence the people around you. So that's my 2 skills on, on what you've done.
Listen to that call to action. No, but I mean, so let's dig on it, right? So you're talking about unpacking, but when did it all start becoming clear for you, right? Because you've got a huge project, and I know we're only releasing bits and pieces along the way. And so what's out right now is the podcast. But when did the plan start to crystallize for you, and kind of what had to happen in order for that to be, I don't know how to say it, clear?
Well, I had an idea, when I was first thinking about leaving, and then talking with you, like it started to, it was thoughts, it was ideas, it was, this cloud of things just in my head, just coming together. But it really didn't come together until the powwow. And so I was at a point where I was like, okay, I need to unplug, remove myself from my day-to-day, and just really deep dive into my inner person. And going to the powwow and getting a chance to unplug and going through these exercises and these talks with you and the other teams, man, like that it just made it crystal clear. I mean, at that point, I was pen to paper, writing out my game plan and was ready to execute. And just the knowledge, the tools that I got from you and your team, right, like helped tremendously. I mean, to the point where it was like, okay, I now have a clear path moving forward on what I need to do. And it's just me taking those first steps.
So what were you thinking when I told you to come to this remote location in the Smoky Mountains to spend the weekend with a bunch of people you've never met before?
I'm not going to curse on this one, but I was definitely like, man, you have me coming in the mountains, in And God knows where. I've seen a whole bunch of Confederate flags on the way up there, and it was just like, man, I don't know where he got me going to, but I mean, I'm there. And then when I showed up, it was, man, all these regular looking people, like, what are they gonna do for me, right? Like, what? How are they gonna help? You know? And so just being open minded, and I remember turning the car off and taking a deep breath and saying, all right, opening the door and speaking to everyone, getting situated, with the room and stuff. And then it was, boom, let's get into these sessions. Let's go. And the talks that we had and the exercises that we did, I mean, it was amazing. It was you walk in and you meet complete strangers, but when you leave, it's like you walked into a whole nother brotherhood, right? I don't even know if, it would be the pack, right? You would call the pack. You would call the pack a brotherhood. To have some alpha wolves in there that basically are in tune with themselves and are wanting to share and help others succeed, right? And are willing to give forth that knowledge base and help, a person unpack. Like, it was astonishing.
So this is the first time having this conversation. We've never actually broke it down because we've just been working. And so now I'm getting super curious. Why'd you come?
Oh, Lord. Why did I come? Right. Initially, I was like, I'm going to come for Jerome because, he asked me. But then when you sent the itinerary and the overview of the actual powwow, it was like, man, this is what I've been needing. Right? I need to unplug. I need to start with, myself, and shoot, man, I want it to come for me.
Okay. You get out, all these regular people are there, or at least they look regular. When did you decide that you made the right choice in making the investment of your resources, your time, your money, your unplugging, all of these things?
I made the right choice when, honestly, when I met James and Wesley. From the first initial introduction, James was prepping food and talking, and it was just very welcoming. And then Wesley, just the way that he greeted and just showed, love. It was like, wow, like I really feel at home.
So I mean, this is part of the conversation that we have had, right? And I'll layer it in with something I haven't said. So for those of you guys who don't know, Greg's a loner, right? He has really spent the majority of his time just moving by himself or with one other person. And so I still remember that time in high school where we skipped school, and instead of staying around and hanging out, we drove to Raleigh, and then we came out the mall and the car wouldn't start. But it's kind of been that thing where it's just, Greg and one other person going wherever and doing whatever he's doing. And I say that, and the reality is it's probably Greg spending more of the time by himself doing his own deal. So you're in this house with a bunch of different guys you don't know. You get this welcome feeling from, James and Wesley. And then on Saturday night, after we stopped recording, you start to tell your story, right? You start to share with people. You go around the room and you challenge some folks on their perspective on life. You let everybody know exactly where you think they are after listening to everybody share. And so what we call that is show and tell. And it's an opportunity for people to open up to the group and share what's challenging them in their life or their business, or, well, life and business are the same, right? So what's challenging them in their life? And if somebody has a solution or a hack for it, we offer it to them and give them ideas on how to implement so that they can go get rid of that issue and move on to the next thing. And so when you're going through it, I'm sitting across the room from you and I'm freaking crying because you're talking about things that you never shared with anybody before. And I don't understand how you got to the place where you were willing to do that. And so how did you get there?
Hey guys, back in 2016, me and the team decided to formalize Dreamcatchers as an organization that can help people achieve their wildest dreams. If this is you, please visit our website at dreamshouldbereal.com in order to find out the details of our services and how we can help you become a Dreamcatcher. Talk to you soon.
Good question. So for y'all listening, right, the most entertaining part is getting Jerome to cry. Right? If you can get him to cry, like you made it. Right? So what I started to realize is that I am my own worst critic, right? Like you're your own worst critic. And I say that because, man, I made A's and B's in high school. I went to the top tier college in the world, one of the top tier colleges in the world. I've studied, I've learned the craft. Like I've done all of these amazing things, and yet I still like get down on myself and tell myself that, you know, like shoot, like who are you, right? And so to be able to, one, talk with you and start to understand like that voice that doubts yourself, right? And it's kind of like having, you know, two things on your shoulders. One telling you, you know, who are you? How great are you? And the other was saying, you know, you're not that great, right? Or that self-doubt that starts to weigh in a lot more heavier than you building yourself up, right? And so it weighs on you when you fail in life, when you let people down, and you just want to win. I played sports, so I've always been competitive. I want to win. And not just in the sense of me beating someone. This time it's I want to win for me. Like I want to be the best me while I'm still here. And so to recognize that through these talks with you, and then to come to the powwow and hear these other established and accomplished people, right, share, you start to think and you realize, man, like, I am an alpha wolf, right? Like, I have been a leader in not only my community and my family, but also for my country. And so there's not nothing that I can't do if I put my mind to it. And to be able to finally speak about the hurt and the trauma and all that self-doubt that was weighing me down, and now to just shake it off, right? It's been relieving, and it's been inspiring. And so to be able to do that, man, like that was a gift in itself. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. So the one thing you haven't said that was my takeaway from your message on Saturday night was you're wasting the time that you have here. There are people who aren't here who would love to be here, and you're taking your time for granted. So what do you tell that person who's very comfortable not making a real impact on the world, know that there's more to life than the life they're living, but are accepting that comfort is more important than actually making an impact?
Man, you put it in great words, right? Like, comfort is more important than making an impact. If you are the person that is sitting at home in a nice house, have a nice car, or if you are a person that is in a job that you hate, but yet you still get up and do it every day because that's all you know, something has to be ringing on the inside. Something has to be screaming on the inside that tells you to go, that tells you to do something better, that rings out, be great, take that step, right? And so for me, I took my losses of my friends, right? I used to think I would see ghosts, right? In the sense of just wanting, my friends to be there. But now it's positive, right? In the sense of acknowledging that I lost them, I love them, but I want to honor them, and taking that pain, taking that hurt, taking that frustration, and now actually putting it into words, putting it into action. Something on the inside has to call out, right? And you haven't been listening to it. And I'm not saying you, Jerome, I'm saying you who's listening to this podcast, right? And so reach out, listen to that person. It doesn't mean you have to walk away from your job or a six-figure, income, or from what you're doing and just completely do something different. It is, let me get in tune with myself. Let me become part of something that will help me be better in life, better with my family, better in my career, or if it's a whole new venture that you want to get into, right? So he's like, yeah, you're channeling. You can edit this part out.
Why?
No,
There's no way I'm editing that out. That was brilliant. It is, you're not rambling. It's, if anything, you're channeling, right? Because this is exactly what you dealt with, right? When you called me and said, I quit my job, I said, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not doing anything that's fulfilling. And the people who I respect the most or love the most, or, my friends are gone. And how can I waste the time that I have here if I know that time can be short and you don't know when it'll be over? That's a real thing. For me, it was Hambone in 2012, where I decided if a good person, one of the best people that I know, can die so young, that I better do everything I can with the time I have in order to make as much impact as I can. Because if I don't, then I probably should have been the one that left instead of him. I'm wasting this gift that I have. So there's no way I'm editing out. That's real. I hate that death is the thing that ends up motivating us a lot of the time. But whatever it is that kicks you in the butt and gets you moving, I'll take it. Because I really do believe that the world will become a better place when people are working on their projects based on the impact that it's having on the world and not the comp. Right. And, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that I tell my sons, especially my oldest, because he's at that age of, becoming a man and venturing out on his own. And you hit the nail on the head, right? Don't wait until death comes knocking on your door. You losing a family member, or your health deteriorating, and now you want to figure something out. I tell him, man, live a life worth living where somebody will want to tell your story, right? And he understands it, and so like you're hitting it, right? Hard times, trauma should not be the reason why you're motivated to move. Be great just because you want to, not because you have to. Don't wait for it, right? And your greatness doesn't mean you have to do it alone, right? Behind every great man, they've had somebody stand behind them. Or I would say behind every great person, because it's not just men, but behind every great person, there's been somebody in their ear, in their corner, coaching them through, backing them up, supporting them, right? Even when nobody else is there, or even when that self-doubt kicks in, like, it's there. So I mean, hey, I ain't got my shirt on, but I took the red pill.
So there's two things I want to cover. One is you taking me to talk to one of your best buds from West Point. And then two, I want to go through, well, I won't put it here. I'll wait till we get done with that. So I appreciate you making the introduction and giving me opportunity to help him through the challenges he was working on. When we finished that call, you summarized some points of things that you noticed from that session. And I don't get the opportunity to observe the interaction, but you basically put us in a room, closed the door, and said, all right, do your thing. And so having been a successful business owner and working in corporate America and having graduate degrees and all this other stuff, what did you see? Like if you had to tell somebody what we do at Dreamcatchers outside of your personal experience, now as an observer of, an interaction. And this is the first time that I've actually had a real conversation with this guy. So break that down for me so that I can actually start telling people what I do, because I don't know how to explain that.
I got you. So basically, it was all right. Let me put Jerome to the test. We were talking through, and you were asking me, how can you be more effective, right? And reach an audience. And as we were going through, it was like, okay, let's see, right? Because to have such a broad target audience, different folks need different things, right? And so I put him on the phone with a friend of mine that I know, and I let him do his thing. And it was it was very inspiring. It was good because my friend, which I won't mention, and I'll let him come and do that because I definitely think he's going to join Dreamcatchers and become a part of the pack. He unloaded. He wasn't ready for the conversation. He was actually driving. He was working, doing his thing. And, he even said, he was like, I miss my kids' game. I supposed to have been doing this work, but he was like, he was like, I had to just sit down, like once the conversation got started, and be like, yeah, I really needed this, right? And so for every entrepreneur that's out there, and it's not just entrepreneur, it's a dream catcher, right? Someone that is chasing their dream, no matter what field of endeavor it is, right? You go through these 3 or 4 things, right? So being able to manage your family, right? Because as an entrepreneur or a dream catcher, a dream chaser, that change is going to affect the people around you, right? And so as you're going after your passion and as you're taking those steps, the people around you are going to be forever changed, right? And so that impact, that transition is going to be rough. And a lot of folks don't recognize that and just think that, they're just supposed to roll with you, but don't really know how to communicate, let alone unpack those feelings that you have internally, right? So you get that aspect of it, of, the family aspect of being an entrepreneur, right? You get the second aspect of, okay, I wanted to go after my dreams. I now need a game plan on how to. Yes, I can sit here and put together a business plan. I can come up with this great idea, but how do I actually put rubber to the road and get traction and move forward, right? When, okay, I've gotten started and I've hit this brick wall and trying to figure out what's next, right? How do I grow this thing? And trying to minimize, I guess you can say, the collateral damage, right, around it. Because once you become an entrepreneur, and I'll just use, that as the example. Once you become an entrepreneur, things start to get limited, right? Instead of working 40 hours a week at your 9 to 5, you're now working 80 hours a week at your job, right? At your own business. That means that it's less time you're spending with you and your family. It also means that, you as a business owner, you're having to bootstrap and put your own money and investment into making your dream a reality, right? And so if you don't understand how to budget and control your waste and see that, then, you'll fail quickly, right? Because funds run out. You can only do so much with, with what you have. So the budget, the managing yourself. And then the other part is, all right, like, how do I get this and gain traction and put this together to where I can get other people wanting to see my vision and invest in me to grow, right? Whether that's team members coming on board to help you, or raising capital, right? So those 4 things, right? Family, business plan, managing your finances and debt, right? And then the 4th one is, is raising raising capital or growth, right? Whether that's through teams or, through financing. Those four things is what basically everyone goes through in some shape, form, or fashion of catching their dream. And that's what you bring to the table to help folks realize that.
Got to get to proof of concept. Having a great idea is not enough. You got to prove that it can actually work. And I think a lot of times we can prove that the concept will work without spending much money or getting money from people outside of ourselves. So the other thing I wanted to ask is, you've become a champion for Dreamcatchers, and I've never asked you why. And so I'm going to do that now while you're being recorded.
I believe in it. Not just you as a person, but I believe in what you're doing. I believe in the cause. There needs to be more, right? And so the world that we live in today, where if you type in or send a text or do a search for one particular thing, you now get bombarded with all of these ads and advertisements for that one particular thing that you search for. I started to get a whole bunch of Tony Robbins ads, right? And so one of his ads says that everybody needs a coach, right? Like even the great players, the pro athletes, the celebrities, the superstars, the billionaires, they all had coaches, right? Someone to push them through. Now, the great thing with this, and this was the part that you and I talked through about cultural sensitive therapy, right? If a person looks like you, can relate to you on so many different levels, the treatment will be more effective, right? And so being able to have a coach that understands me, gets me, and is able to talk to me in such a way where I can sort through what I'm going through and come out on the end like charged up, ready to go, and have some actionable items that can take place. I mean, I need to tell the world, right? Like, it's the God honest truth, and that's one reason. That is the biggest reason why I am a champion for Dreamcatchers, because it's amazing, right? And the fact that I don't have to go down this road of success alone. Shoot, man, is helpful.
So I've been pontificating for a while. I listened to the book Relentless by, I think it's Tim Grover. And he said, I'm the guy that gets a call when a cleaner has to have something happen. And he's got 4 different classifications of people who execute. And everybody hears about the closer. The closer is the guy that gets it done. But there's this elite level of athlete, entrepreneur, just person in general, just this top level person that is called a cleaner in his book. And when Greg walked out of his job and called me first, that was the realization of that for me. I want to be the guy where somebody is getting ready to embark on something that is so big and has the ability to shake the world, and they believe that I can help them deliver that. And they trust me with something that is so precious, right? Because so many dreams get crushed before they ever begin to grow. And in that infancy, it's extremely important that you protect it and you only share it with people who can help you deliver that thing to the world. Once it starts to walk, then the criticism and all the other stuff can come. But there is this incubation period where you have to get clarity and you have to stay away from the dream killers. And so for that, I thank you, because it's been a progressive, slow and easy move towards that. But you made that a reality for me. There's so many different places I could go here, but I think it's probably best to put a bow on it. What is the one thing you want people to take away from our conversation about Dreamcatchers?
The biggest thing, and I mean, it just comes naturally, right? And ever since I've been a part of it, this voice rings out, let me show you how great I am, right? And so for anybody that's out there that is wanting to do something more with themselves, that's what Dreamcatchers is. It is a movement. It is a call to action. Come learn to be great.
Man, your dreams should be real. Greg's are going to be real. It's crazy how clearly we can see this thing and it hasn't happened yet. It's going to be a long road, but the world will absolutely be a better place because of it. I appreciate you. I appreciate your sacrifice. I appreciate your contribution, my brother. And we'll meet again somewhere on this beautiful green earth.
Indeed.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy what you heard, share with a friend. If you know somebody who needs this, let them know that we're seeking them. I think we have a unique solution for those folks who are feeling like they are doing it alone. They feel like they're the only one dealing with the stuff they're dealing with. I haven't been surprised yet in any of the interactions that I've had. So I encourage you guys to find out more about Dreamcatchers. And even if you don't find a fit for our services, I encourage you to give me social proof that dreams should be real. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for joining the tribe today. We would love to hear from you. Please don't forget to rate, like, and share. Perhaps someone you know could benefit from what we've discussed. Until the next time, remember that your dreams should be real.